Begin phase 3 of life, when the brain is king. Begin topic, the primal desire for practical experience / tautologies in execution. Begin quote. Degrees are like philosophy. Lot of relevance in idle gossip, but nothing in practical applications. End quote. Begin topic, a factory pattern when I could not stop laughing. Dear Mayuri's diary. High on power and money, these multinationals take pride in their abilities of having the most talented people to work for them, dressed in their best finery, smelling with expensive designer perfumes, and flashing their obscene amount of money from their bulging designer purses, which any queen of sass would envy. They will use all tricks in the world just to meet their target numbers. Beg, borrow, or steal to get these fresh graduates in their beautiful web of handsome bonuses, filthy rich salaries, a dream of a secure future, and not to mention the honor and prestige that comes with it. Even if such high words are a dinosaur and are really words using for evoking some laughter. My youthful energies are now burning on full cylinders. They want me to create new systems that can change the world, to satiate my thirst for learning by not just reading, but by actual implementation. I begin to feel invincible. I jump 2 feet on the bandwagon, feeling unstoppable, only to find that the role assigned to me is that of a cog in a wheel, which will enable me to do the same task effectively for sure, but on the same time never grow out of that role. These tasks must be a work of some crafty fox of a manager, as is clear from tiny chunks she has made that will ensure that the bigger picture never appears. These assigned tasks do nothing towards enriching the skill set for learning the art, have an opposite effect of dulling the thinking abilities. To hide their true intent, they have thrown in temptations of fancy cubicles, free phone, and not to forget some free staplers thrown in for some comical relief. In this process, stealing from us our most valuable asset of youthful energies. As a fresh graduate, I feel ashamed of myself for having sold myself short, ashamed of becoming just another hypocrite in this hypocritical society. It is the youth that make the society and not vice versa. When has becoming one with the dime a dozen crowd ever paid that it will now? Ancient wisdom says that every individual is powerful, like the super kundalini, having exemplary powers that can move mountains with just the tip of a finger. Then why do we not see miracles in this age? These people know not that they just threw away diamonds of their most valuable years in exchange for these false comforts, which money can never buy back. When I saw this, I laughed, picking up my bag and left, never to return. ... End topic. Begin topic. Welcome the Learning Tree Incorporated / when I could not stop crying. Begin subtopic. A builder pattern. Dear Mayuri's diary, leaving that high-paying primo crap job cold turkey should have left me anxious over my future, but this did not happen. And instead, I am experiencing a strange calm and gratitude from the soul in me for not subjecting me with the torture of sitting all day and doing nothing is challenging. Not choosing a job that is offering high pay along with the security of a stable job over a job that is paying less but is giving me valuable experience in my trade might seem foolish, as ultimately to survive in this highly competitive dog-eat-dog world, we all need money. But this is being short-sighted. The priority for an amateur should be learning and gaining experience. The more skillful the person, the more the money one can expect to follow automatically. So now the next company that I choose is one that offers me a steep growth curve by giving me the experience that will sharpen my saw. Never the one which cheats me of my real thrills by deceiving me with some fancy rewards like a personal cube with a personal stapler thrown in for some comic relief. It is as if it were just a matter of me praying with conviction that now my eyes could now see what I did not before. A small and simple worded advertisement looking for new graduates. I saw it as a good sign, as it suggests that there is no human resources department, which means there is no intermediaries creating confusions just so they can push their personal agendas of getting their nephews and nieces over real talent. My eyes popped in disbelief on seeing such a rare learning opportunity, which will give me an opportunity of getting my hands dirty with the core components in a complex system. Now, getting this job means everything to me. Once such an experience is under my belt, my foundation will become so strong that Even if the technologies change, I can go with the flow. But all my hopes get dashed when I read the next sentence. I meet all the requirements for the job, but the one that is also mandatory, my resume has every skill that a newcomer can have, except that mandatory prerequisite that is necessary for me to fulfill all my ambitions. Damn fate! If only I had the required project in assembly language and not the C language, the job would have been mine. Now what do I do? The thought of consequences would deter any wise person. But since I'm not at the level of these intellectuals, I do the unthinkable. With trembling hands, I lie a little in my resume. Even if it is something that the Court of Ethics might let me get away with a wink, but not the courts of any country. To not lose this excellent opportunity of a lifetime without giving any more thought, I risk it all by making a small modification. I justify to the ethics in me by this reasoning. Since the implementation is the same and it is just the language that is different, it's like a small technical difficulty erasing which is necessary to fool any radical manager who might jeopardize all my goals otherwise. I smile when I learn the results from the tricky round of interview, saying pass, and that too in flying colors. Now, for the next round, I'm putting all my efforts in the choice of the attire. I learn from the news readers how they dress so that attention stays more on the content than my dynamic personality. So I choose some simple yet presentable clothes, well oiled hair, and a charming smile as the only ornament for my angelic face. I'm good at impressing people with my communication skills, and yet I save them for much later. I do not start any unnecessary conversations. Speak only when spoken to. My gaze is steady, looking directly ahead or the floor to avoid any eye contacts. This I do because this way no one can make any certain impressions of me. And then everyone around me is busy trying to decode the mystery that I am. Turns out that the hiring manager is also the project manager. In short, he is the most important person for me currently, as in his hands lie my entire future. He sounds deeply knowledgeable and must have good intellect. How else do you think he's running a whole business? For me, it is a sign that he must be some cunning negotiator too. Being a small company, he tells me that because there is no complex hierarchy in the company, he will not have to go through several layers of approval. So he can make his offer on the spot, saying in a very matter of fact way, we are a small company. These big multinational companies can offer kinds of monetary benefits which the small companies can never even dream of. Yet, I am confident of what I am offering and confident that being smart, know that this offer has a much benefit for me as you is not face index of the inside, and when it does reveal the secret to the outside, it only betrays the inside. That is why a poker face makes the best gambler. He offers me a salary which less than the industry standards. Still, I accept the offer with a smile. Sign on the spot to become the latest proud employee of the company, The Learning Tree Inc. On walking out of the office, I cannot help but laugh over outsmarting the most cunning of the cunning businessmen as I say to myself, Mr. Manager, you, who may be the best negotiator ever born on the planet, but still not better than me, as you just got deceived by my poker face, as in reality it was me who was getting ready to pay you for gaining the experience, but instead now you are paying me for the experience I'm gaining. Please accept my gratitude once again. On the first day of my starting my new job, I have the pleasure of meeting the other employee, Siddharth, who just started with me, is looking miserable. The small size of the office is an insult to his prestige. He is constantly comparing the amenities that people working in big offices get. Due to his quibbling nature, he cannot find any rest till finally he decides to leave. All the colleagues, including me, come to see him to wish him farewell. I smilingly say to him, I wish you well, my dear colleague, my rival. May you find your peace and happiness in doing whatever pleases you. And then, waving him goodbye, I whisper to myself, I will not envy your pleasures, as my intelligence abhors the things that you find thrilling. End topic. Begin topic. Virtual servant. Begin quote. Just conquered a mountain, even if it was of my clothes only. Hehehehe. End quote. Dear Mayuri's diary, I have seen that if I am doing just one task single-mindedly, I can conduct many complex tasks, but the moment a worrying thought of other pending tasks enters, I fail. However, to create such a disturbance-free environment in this modern world is virtually next to impossible, especially with this monster-sized house that I live in, which needs my constant attention along with the many other tasks that I have to do just to support my basic lifestyle. So, what do I do to enable myself to do tasks sure-footed? First, I look for my answers in how our ancestors dealt with this problem. Well, they hired servants. Great idea. But damn these high-paying politicians for not doing a good enough job in keeping the poor poor. So now what was dirt cheap then, now it costs a lot. And then also, even if you still choose to hire, the outcome is still a compromise, as managing of these workers is a whole another headache to deal with. So now what I am doing, I am setting up an automated virtual servant for myself. I spend a generous amount of time upfront in the first setup of all the available options customized to serve my needs my way. Now on to other tasks that also need my full attention. ... End topic. Begin topic. Chain of responsibility. Dear Mayuri's diary. First, let me set the context by narrating a story that my grandmother told me when I was still a child. This is a story about 4 people named everybody, somebody, anybody, and nobody. There was an important job to be, and everybody was sure that somebody would do it. Anybody could have it, but nobody did it. Somebody got angry about that because it was everybody's job. Everybody thought anybody could do it, but nobody realized that everybody would not do it. It ended up that everybody blamed somebody when nobody did what anybody could have. Now that I'm working in the corporate world, I can appreciate it better. So I refuse to accept the offer for a managerial position, even if the monetary benefits far outstripped what my current position as a developer was getting. The title is associated with a lot of power over the rest of the team and more prestige and money, and yet if I choose this possibility, I rob myself from all the joy that can only come in seeing one's contribution into the creative process come to life. Also, giving guarantee over the quality of my own work is one thing, but when it comes to being accountable for someone else's work, nightmare begins right then. I'm barking, but no one listens. Therefore, for the sake of my sanity, I politely dodge all promotions. End topic. Begin topic. Mute that tongue, Miss Chatterbox. Once the life-changing product on which I had been working on, putting in over 14 hours in a day, not to forget the hours put over the weekends with my team in Learning Tree Inc., is finally ready. We all in unison were ready to sue the scientists who told us that time is a constant, while what we just saw was that the time shrinks when people are enjoying their work. Mayuri, we all fellow developers are rejoicing on seeing our efforts take shape. Little that we are really celebrating our own funeral, while us geeks are excited over the thought of nice rewards coming our way as a token of appreciation for our work. The management has already made its list ready for axing the fat cats amongst the already thin cats, as now the need is not for developers but of marketing teams, including of beautiful ladies and slick talking salespeople who can now sell the product. Deception. A person with integrity would at least give some notice in advance, but these business people are like prostitutes. The only thing that matters to them is the balance sheets showing higher profit margins. It does not take the manager much time in finding his scapegoat. With true feminine nature, I too have trouble keeping secrets. My tongue is itching to brag about my success in a place where I did not even meet the criteria for admission. How I not let some silly hiccup come in the way of what I wanted. And who can be better to brag to than the person who had foolishly walked away from the opportunity of a lifetime? Siddharth, putting my career in the high gear. As a result, in my euphoric mood, I call him to tell him the secret which enabled me to get this job. Now I'm laughing and telling him all about how I fooled the manager into believing that I'm a pro in computer language assembly, while really she knew nothing about this one, but instead knew another computer language, C. The truth is that I learned that language as I was using. I laugh even harder as I make him more aware of his losses in comparison to my gains. For the same bet where Your career sunk miserably. Mine took off at escape velocity. What mostly catches a thief is not the smartest police officer, but its own tongue, as the tongue is competing with the mind, and because she has no mind to process her response, is quicker and can end up putting the person in greater trouble. We still live in a hypocritical society full of quick to judge people are the ones who will never be able to see the genius behind my accomplishment. I could never bring myself to share it with you, but now I do not know why I am going against my own values. The next moment, what do you think I am doing? I'm calling the very person who will get kill himself when he learns about how much he lost in the same transaction in which my gains were simply infinite. Once I'm letting my tongue slip out all the dirty tricks I employed to win, I trembled. Now I feel a naked man standing in front of a defeated person who just learned the cause of all his misery is me, and is a good chance that the first chance he gets, he will not hesitate in firing a bullet right through the middle of my forehead. Now, the situation for this clever person is more like of the madman who kept cutting the very branch on which he was sitting. Now that the cat is out of the bag, there is no telling how much damage the cat will do. Siddharth first looks around at his huge cube, then his dear stapler, and then finds some comfort for some time. The next moment he's cursing his tasks, which are minor, monotonous, and brain numbing. After weighing diverse options, this disgruntled employee comes up with a plan to take his revenge. With a cunning smile on his face, he loses no time in calling the manager on the phone to tell him everything. All about how she had made a fool of the company and, more importantly, the manager himself. He begins by describing the deviousness of this arrogant woman who lied to climb the corporate ladder, trampling his image as the smartest business person in the whole corporate world by some newcomer. And the humiliation does not just end there, but because this person is a woman in our male dominated industry and who is half his age. Hearing all this and the upcoming budget cuts gives him a good excuse in wielding the axe on me in the cruelest manner he could think of. The drama of does not just end with firing me on the spot, but also ruin all my prospects of ever appearing as a competition to him by spoiling my history, which companies refer to for making their silly background checks. Now, I know not how to punish my silly tongue for ruining everything, for I had been working hard for years, all destroyed in a matter of few seconds. The only consolation that I have is that I got what I wanted and that no cruel boss can ever snatch it from me. Knowledge. When I get home, my mother already knew everything about the firing from my job, conveyed by my generous manager himself, conveyed by a personal phone call. Mother Aditi, it is in our own interest to learn to keep our secrets and not even share it with these silent trees. Let me tell you a story which will help you grasp the point better. Once upon a time, there was a barber who shared a top secret about the king not having any ears to a tree. Days went by and nothing happened. One fine day, some tree cutter cuts the tree and then makes a drum out of it. When the drum gets in the hands of a drum beater, and then he went around the whole town beating the drum would start revealing the king's secret to everybody. The king has no ears. The king has no ears. The king has no ears. The king felt so angry that he had the drum beater executed. Moral of the story. My dear little chatterbox daughter, your face should not reveal anything that is happening inside to anyone, including me. Just lock all your secrets in your heart and then throw that key in the depths of River Yamuna. End topic. Begin topic. The White Swan Career Path. After much deliberations, with keeping all inputs from various sources, his vision cleared. Just as when an encryption experts uncovered the real message by cleaning the slate with chemicals and bring the hidden message to the front, so emerged the message meant for him and only him, with golden letters flashing in bold colors, which he declared aloud to himself. My way is not a walk in the park, but the way which goes up the mountain, down the river, through the ditches. I'm that swan whose wings are still weak, eyes still hazy, and yet has the wings powered with a willpower that can help me fly across the oceans. Just like a swan, as mentioned in the scriptures, is a bird who's equally at home when on land or when in water. Similarly, I feel that whether I become a geeky math professional in India or a hedge fund manager, New York Stock Exchange, does not really matter. What matters is that I have fire in me, burn bright every day on the thought of working on my job. Then I can put my soul into my creation. Once a product carries my signature, is bound to be beautiful. Then, when I see my creation, my soul will swell with pride. That can only come by doing a decent job. This thought puts my body in immense peace. Otherwise, a life without the challenge of solving new puzzles. Every time I start my work, my body will sink in despair. With that concluding thought, all my doubts have gone. I know my choice. It is where my passion lies. Once he gets his direction, he smiles with peace spread all over his face. ... End topic. Begin topic. A giant leap to freedom. Begin poem. Fly, bird, fly. Make your nest oceans away, where you cannot hear any distracting cries from the loved ones, breaking away all bondages of native culture and religion biases, so you can listen to the silence beating in your heart to discover that you are an enigma in yourself. Solving this labyrinth in me is indeed time well spent. End poem. Begin topic. 1998. The dot-com boom. Demand and supply rule. Fire flowers are blooming, creating a beautiful view as if there is fire everywhere, in perfect harmony with the dawn of the dot-com era in the early 1990s. It is wartime. Like in war, even if a person has committed the worst of crimes, he still gets pardoned, recruited as a soldier. Similarly now, all my faults to get pardoned, recruited as a computer engineer. Being in the right industry at the right time is the magic pill for success. The internet is just taking off at the speed of light. If the same amount of investment of efforts here give returns many folds, then it is not cowardly but foolish not to jump onto this boat to heaven. Mayuri heaved a sigh of relief when she saw when demand is outstripping the supply, background checks are being only for some comical relief, and this crack in the system came as a good fortune for Mayuri to slip through. Her gamble of working for a company for experience over money pays off. That too with infinite gains. She now has upper hand when negotiating with the strong companies in the US who were willingly throwing filthy amount of compensation to get her to choose them. Their only concern, they do not lose her. How the tables have turned, holding her ticket to the US, she does not forget to call Siddharth for thanking him to becoming the cause of her losing her career in India. As it were not for this hard kick, she would never have tried looking for a new opportunity due to being stuck with her old company where her growth had already stagnated, and would not have started looking elsewhere due to her feelings of loyalty for the company, which is instrumental in giving her career a strong rock like foundation. End topic. Begin topic. Mother, a silent, melancholic beauty. Dear Mayuri's diary, every time people give credit to me for this monumental achievement of mine, I begin to feel uneasy. I begin to question myself to find the cause behind all this uneasiness. Then, as my eyes are darting back and forth, all the anxiety ends as my eyes rest when they see the picture of my parents' wedding picture. I smile, as now I know I have the answer to my question. The reason behind my uneasiness is that when I'm accepting the credit as my sole achievement, I'm really being a thief who's stealing the credit from the real architect behind making this moment happen. Someone whose wrinkles are hiding many untold stories of a love that gives without expecting anything in return. Someone who makes silent sacrifices of one's own desires to make her children's desires a reality. I never had to worry about hunger, as mother did an excellent job in managing the heavy meal requirements for growing children so well that we did not even know what hunger means. This helped me immensely, as this freed up a lot of time for me to focus on my demanding career goals. She sacrificed her desires of going for parties and social gatherings just so we children could. With this thought, I have tears in my eyes. I am now running towards my parents' room, singing out loudly for everyone to hear. Hail Mother for her unparalleled sacrifices. Hail Mother for bearing pain to give us life. Hail Mother for painting her breast black so we can fly away from her to conquer new frontiers. Then, when I see my parents sitting side by side, first I touch my mother and father's beautiful lotus feet as a gesture of my gratitude towards them. I thank them for showing me the meaning of true love, not just by words, but by their actions. A debt that will take for me many lifetimes to repay. You were like the wind beneath my wings, enabling me to soar even higher and thus be successful in completing this daring and life altering voyage across the oceans all by myself. End topic. Begin topic. C bracket D. Ream boy. Mother says parting advice to her dreamy-eyed daughter. I always shielded you from the evil eyes of the deluded souls that exist in the real world. The sheltered life that I created for you has its relevance in a sheltered environment of a loving family only. When the designer of all designers created beautiful rose flower, also created a thorn for its protection, which teaches us that not everyone is a friend. Your sheltered eyes still only see goodness in everyone, while outside is a jungle out there. And since the rules of the jungle are vastly different, learn to adapt with the demands of the unfamiliar environment. One would think that after listening to this little philosophical dissertation, the daughter will never get in trouble. But problem is that how could she even hear a word when her body and soul are already in America, having engaging rendezvous with the best of the breed at the one stop shop for the whole big imperfect world, America. ... End topic. Begin topic. Then I learned the science of sociology. Begin subtopic. Day and night differences. Dear Mayuri's diary, as I open the golden door to freedom of living my life the way I want, I feel vindicated for all my actions which made ethics frown. If I were to calculate the size of changes and preparation needed, I could never had been able to make the leap to infinity. So I tricked my brain into looking at this life-changing at it some non-event, a nothing. So this way, the whole anxiety which comes from grand expectations vanished. When people see me, they mistake me to be some inexperienced, frail, vulnerable foreigner who they can trick easily. But what they do not know is that I am well armed, wearing my armor of my smartness, my vocational skill set, which makes me invincible. Wearing this armor, no evil monsters can now prevent me from getting situated in a country with differences as wide as night and day. End topic. Begin subtopic. She thinks she's some goddess. Begin quote. Never would have thought that I, who always saw herself as the fire in a speech, will ever get to see a day when I discover that the stutter in a speech is also me. End quote. Dear Mayuri's diary. After my unpleasant experience with my first ever love, I was sure I will never be able to love again. What do you think happens next? I'm in love. There is no catalyst potent than love. I feel possessed with demonic powers strong enough to die in my pursuit for my target. I, who has slain India in one step, will have this cowboy from Georgia on his knees in no time. How pure he must be. After all, white is the only color that reflects everything, keeps nothing for itself. He must already know all about my prowess as just being here and working in the same prestigious company as him is proof enough. So I need not tell him all about it. And so instead, to impress him, will use some other techniques under my belt. Using some pretext, I go to his cube in order to impress him with my intelligent philosophical insights on the more interesting topics in the world. However, that did not happen. Instead, much to my horror, all words coming out of my mouth were nothing but an intelligible garble. If my dear boss Atlas were someone who is a fellow colleague, he would have burst out laughing on my face. But since he did not, he proved his superiority by managing this embarrassing situation very elegantly by just looking away, helping me recover enough to make a hasty exit from the spot. Shocked from looking like a complete bungling idiot, in that too in front of the very man I wanted to cut this tongue of mine for betraying me at the most critical moment of my life when I needed it the most. But because of her past stellar performances in clearing all sorts of misunderstandings, I need her to perform once more. When I have my next accidental meeting with him, dressed in my brand new stellar avatar, since I'm no bungler but a fighter, without wasting any more time, the same day I hit the local mall to buy myself a whole new wardrobe. I buy makeup that matches white people. This way he will see me as one of his own, and then embrace me into his strong arms, as if I am competing with my white boss to show him who is really the superior one. I will transform my skin into white too. I check my wallet. No new money yet, which means ideally I should be waiting for the next paycheck, but these are exceptional times. Means exceptional steps too. So I use every cent from my meager savings from my earlier job in India to wipe my Indian identity and transform into my new white American version. I forget my original accent and instead try talking in American accent, but only succeed in speaking with an accent which can neither be called American English nor my native tongue Hindi, but a cocktail of the two, which can best described as Hinglish. Now I first have a little bonfire of all my clothing, which remotely would clue people about my origins. After the burning ceremony is over, I buy new, chic, high heeled sandals, buy men's clothing to look more powerful, clothes that were bolder, almost clashing colors, put on fake rouge. Now I know not why the picture of the red butt of a monkey just flashed in front of my eyes. Dismissing that negative evil thought, I go on to smear my face with white talcum powder. Again, I have no idea why I am looking like some brown woman wearing a borrowed face from some white woman. Even after all the massive changes, I have a strong feeling that something somewhere is lacking. Something which is showing her true origins. And so, lo and behold, out go my long black hair, cutting off, which is like cutting sacred ties with my religion and my nationality. As I cut my long hair, I laugh with Guru Govind Singh Ji, the founder of our religion, and say what he would have said today on seeing the Khalsa of today. If only I knew making a new religion will make my future generation stop using their brains and not adapt to the current times, then I would never would have founded another religion in the first place. Now, by breaking the Khalsa rule of never cutting your hair to adapt to the new environment, it is me who is being true to my Khalsa spirit by freeing myself from the false notion of Khalsa. Now, I even suspect a conspiracy behind it by the enemy who is tricking us by using our love for our ancestors against us. So we stay in the dark and never progress. It is only now, by choosing for self, myself, what is best for my survival in the new conditions, am I being true to the essence of my religion, while earlier I was just a coward. This new makeover will have my boss ogling at me only for sure. Now I feel pleased with my new transformed version. My looks make me look like a native, but I know not from where to get the matching attitude, as without it I have a bad feeling that I'm looking like a monkey from my native land. End topic. Begin topic. The start of the great leveling between the filthy rich West and the insanely poor East. My boss, Atlas, is still unaware of my new transformation into Chandi, the smart warrior princess. After my stunning makeover, I want to run straight to his cubicle for him to see me, but damn these womanly hesitations embedded deep in us women's nature. Now I will have to wait till the coffee break. After painful hours of waiting, I head towards the kitchen. My plan is to just take my coffee cup and then quickly leave, giving my boss just enough time to see my new stunning avatar. Unfortunately for me, he was not alone, but with Anne, the human resource manager. Now, I have not just succeeded in winning his attention, but also the attention of the evil eye of Anne. I'm leaving, but curiosity in me makes me invade all privacy rules, preventing us from eavesdropping on private conversations. This foreigner thinks she's some goddess. Once we know we can import monkeys from India for doing our high skill jobs too, that too at the cost of a banana, then in no time we shall see everything inverted. They will be enjoying our lavish lifestyles while we will be sitting on the sidelines eating bananas. I can foresee the great leveling of economies happening in the extremely near future. He picks two bananas lying in front of them. Will you like a banana? I hate bananas. These foreigners from poor countries are not just content in taking our jobs, as now they have started eyeing our men folk too. It is our duty as the pure breed to pounce on the first opportunity of firing her from her job, and then the strict work visa rules will ensure that she gets sent back to where she came from. I'm now giving a virtual pat on the back of past Mayuri for not falling in the trap of privacy laws that only protect these sinners who made these laws. If it were not for this feedback, I would have only become a laughing stock in the eyes of the man I want, never his heroine. I'm feeling sick to my stomach as what I just heard was my death sentence for a life that did not even get a chance to perform. What makes me feel even worse is that my assumption of seeing in someone as my lifelong confidant turned out to be dangerous. He has absolute power, being one of the most influential people in the company. The moment I end up doing something silly that upsets him, that will be end of my life in this promised land for sure. End topic. Begin subtopic. Devil's Notice. The H-1B visa. Dear Mayuri's diary, how I envy these people who can eat about anything without any trouble. Since me also being one of those unfortunate ones who cannot, the key to our kind's survival is to avoid any unintentional hurt of bloated egos who might take it as an insult if you find their food unpalatable. Therefore, to cut any possibility of any such fatal occurrences, making a meal out of me instead of the cow, I decide on not going to the party after work and make my secret plan to sneak out of the back door and then head anywhere but the party. ना बजेगा बांस, ना बजेगी बांसुरी. Quote. Without a bamboo, a flute cannot play. End quote. Convincing myself, I jump from a chair to leave unnoticed. But damn the law of attraction. The very person who I'm trying to avoid is the very person who is about to enter from the same door from which I am about to exit. Now, him knowing my driving skills, his best possibility is to be off the road when I am on that road. So, like a good Samaritan, he offers me a ride. Seeing I just hit a brick wall, I accept this invitation to my funeral with a smile. All colleagues, including myself, are in the big garden, enjoying a free flow of appetizers and drinks. We both arrive to the event together. In front of us are a sea of dishes for everyone, along with our dear Human Resources Manager, Anne. We both sit together as Anne is doing the honor of fixing them with a plate of a nice looking juicy burger. I try to be positive about this incident and try to use this opportunity for diffusing all the tension between us. I strike a little casual conversation, and then, with my mouth full of food, I ask him more about this object in my mouth that has an alien taste like never met before. Cutting him short, Ants starts answering for him. A beef patty that I've made myself just for this occasion. Now, I will do anything to impress my boss and fit in with the high class people. So, despite knowing that it is against our religious teachings of not eating this animal, I begin swallowing this bitter pill. Now, my inability to eat this animal has nothing to do with ethics, but my dear mother. How? She has done a wonderful job of teaching me of never eating cow, conspiring behind my back. The damn insanity in me shows me who is the boss by completely overriding my attempt of going with the flow. Like a reflux, all contents in my stomach make their way out with full force from my mouth, and then, like a fountain of gross motley of various beautiful colors, settles comfortably on dear Anne's elegant designer shirt with pretentious people embroidered on it. This shirt happens to be particularly special, partly because her dear father had so lovingly gifted it to her on her birthday. She knows she is looking like marshmallow dipped in chocolate, and so no one can blame the rest of the crowd, formed of fellow immigrants, from bursting out laughing. Now Anne, in a tyrannical fit of anger, shouts, to prevent such a travesty from repeating again, we should give her such a punishment that will serve as an example for all future newcomers. Now, I am full of dread as I can see this event as the icing on the cake, which has all the potential of sealing all my future prospects, not just with him, but also with the company. And not just that, it also has the potential of completely uprooting her from even before her roots can attach themselves with this promised land. Anne's face is now fuming red like the setting sun on my whole life. With a tyrannical surge of vengeance, she shows no mercy, and then, with one blow, hammers the final nail in my coffin. She dismisses me on the spot. The visa on which is like sitting on a keg of bombs ready to explode in a second's notice. Now, this special visa, which is meant for professional immigrants, is something that the devil itself must have crafted. He called a meeting and invited the best brains straight from Hades to come up with best ways to torture the vulnerable immigrants. And then the devil was incredibly pleased when he saw this product, and then lovingly called it the all will work following American standards, but will get wages same as their own poor countries. What gives this visa its bite is this clause, which, when exercised by the employer at once, changes the status of the immigrant worker to illegal. Due to the knowledge of my new status of illegal, I'm now full of dread. I soon find out that from my fellow immigrants that, fortunately for us immigrants, even the employer cannot do such an open injustice openly because of their fear of revolt from other fellow immigrants on this unpopular decision. So I'm relieved when I learn about their favor to me of giving me a grace period of a good 10 days. The human resources manager, Anne, is now at her sarcasm's best and says in her sing song voice, "Thank you," trying her best to hide the effect of sarcasm on showing over her face. But her wide fake smile evaporates as soon as I kill her sarcasm with my sarcasm by shooting her acid tongue by my parting arrow laced with sugar from my sharp tongue. No, no, no. Thank you for firing me. Now she cannot control her poker face anymore and bursts out laughing loud over this remark that was coming straight from the mouth of someone who had just won the title of the biggest loser. Laughingly, she continues, "Now I have heard every cloud has a silver lining, but even if I were to put on my most optimistic rose tinted glasses in my eyes, would still fail to see any visible or hidden positivity in this event for you." Now, a laughter that was still in control transforms into a hysterical one. "You are mistaken. Yes, there is a lot of good hidden in this apparently unpleasant event," as I answer back with a confidence that puts Anne back into doubt over her own statement. I continue. "This bullet that you shot at me is at the bubble of arrogance that I was floating in. When I first landed on the American soil, I thought I was invincible. My pride had put false notions in me. which made me function as if I am the lotus in flowers, the fire in a speech. But now, with my new initiated eyes, I can clearly see that the stutter in a speech is also me, and that the cactus in flowers is also me, that the infinity is me and zero is also me. What I assume to be the ceiling in my jump from America to India is really just a stepping stone on the American soil. By ending my employment, you have shown me that the reality is much crueler, that I'm a mere slave who is at the mercy of her master, and that a slave cannot afford to forget their limits. Now the firing manager Anne goes silent. The next instant, Mayuri turns her back to leave. From the door she's closing forever, while seeing from the eyes at the back of her head Manager Anne's enormous eyes, melancholically watching her go. End topic. Begin topic. He thinks he's some god. Begin quote. Burn all these DNA theories that have only divided us from each other, have diverted us from seeing us as we all really are. Not just a mere combination of the 5 elements in nature referred to as Panchbhut in Vedic science: fire, air, the infinite, clay, water, but are a kundalini slash soul that is under the supervision of the super kundalini. End quote. Dear Mayuri's diary, I'm burning inside from the humiliation caused by my purebred American boss by rejecting me, even if everything he does looks perfect, as if God Himself came to earth to do His work through Him. It does not mean my abilities can never reach His level. I want to take my revenge, but not by running with a dagger after him, but with my secret form of revenge. I will sharpen my saw and will rest only once my worth is so high that it is me who will ignore him, and the cause will not be spite or vengeance, but simply that he's just not worthy of my attention anymore. End topic. Begin topic. Sharpen the saw. In the tree ecosystem, when the leaves begin to wither, the trunk does not divert its energies towards saving them, but instead just lets them go, as their true value now is in their ashes, while the value of the youth Isn't there energies in using those ashes to function as manure, which will then support new life? Learning from this system, when the dot-com bubble bursts, so do the stock prices, so do the insanely rich salaries of the information technology IT. So does my life, as I am also a computer programmer. All of us computer programmers are no fools who cannot see that our demand is high, mainly because we are at the beginning of this new demand curve. The moment our supply starts outstripping the demand, our value will crash. So, our fault does not lie in not being able to see the risk that we are in, but we damn this never ending optimism in us, as even when we are planning for our worst days, we can see is us sacrificing our Friday night pizza from the local shop. Thus, surprised by our own poor forecasts, especially from a brain that can forecast wild weather data with uncanny accuracies, failed in forecasting their own fall is indeed a travesty. We sit there scratching our heads, wondering how could my intelligence not see this coming? Me, a brain that is powerful as God Himself? Mother Aditi counseling her daughter on the phone. Sharpen the saw. Time is of the essence. Either you can waste it all by agonizing over your misfortune, or else you can reverse it by investing it towards enhancing your skill set. The fact that you are still safe is because your skill set is still in demand. However, tomorrow, when new innovative technology comes, of which you have no knowledge whatsoever, but since the demand is for the other one, then chances are high that you will become the dinosaur of the industry. Often it takes a hard kick in the chest for triggering that electrifying insecurity that is needed to trigger one to push oneself to conquer higher levels. End topic. Begin topic. Then I stopped socializing with my own country people. Dear Mayuri's diary, whenever I see the people from my own country, or even people having resemblance with them, my heart rejoices. And yet, I do not make any attempts to send them any friendly overtures. Rather, I deliberately avoid all eye contact. Not because I have inherited antisocial tendencies from my mother, but because if I do not respect my time limitations, and begin entertaining both disjoint sets, I'm sure to lose my sanity, to come oceans away only to experience life the same way as before is absurd. Also, I'm too shy to admit to even myself, but because of my secret wish of knowing the creator of all creators, various creations, ways of living, so I too can be more like him, beautiful, both inside and outside. With this thought in my mind, contrary to animal nature of flocking with the like, I stop all my interactions with my kind. End topic. Begin topic. Then I learned the art of hairstyling and cosmetic presentation skills. Begin quote. Out of tender feelings of love, most people often than not begin neglecting their own body care needs for their loved ones, mistaking it as sacrifice for them, not realizing that by doing so, they just jeopardize their own mission of supporting, as you need this body in a good condition to be of help to others. End quote. Dear Mayuri's Diary, the rejection from the Bachelor of America has killed all possibilities of any union with him, neither in the present nor in the future. Still, before his killing, he has redeemed himself by gifting me with an image of the future me, a me who is more like him. After all, he is one of his most beautiful creation of all creations. With this edification, I'm now planning on never skipping on my bathing routines. End topic. Begin topic. Inspiration from the shock jock Howard Stern, the king of all teachers. Dear Mayuri's Diary, how, when time becomes favorable, the all-powerful destiny surrendered piteously brings all the required actors together to the same stage, still amazes me no end. Here I was just thinking I'm going for meeting a friend only to find I was going to meet a friend who will become a major part of my daily life. My friend is listening to the Howard Stern show when I walk in. As I am hearing the wild show, I jump with joy, as what I am listening to is precisely what I'm looking for. A heaven sent answer to my requirement for survival. The Howard Stern show. What better way to get a ducking in the American culture than listening to Howard Stern's 4-hour talk show in the car radio while driving to work, thereby perfecting the daily commute times by listening to a show that is as American as apple pie. Not a single moment of boredom. And you are laughing all the way. So, my message to all those women from the Harvard Haters Club who are now plotting to censor this book too, to not stereotype me also, as I am only doing it for learning purposes only. A special shout out to dear Howie. If you are reading this, then accept my gratitude, as I bow to your genius repeatedly, just like any of your true die-hard fans. There on the air, you are the undisputed king. You can say anything. Similarly, here in the book, I am the undisputed queen. I can also write anything. And if you ever invite me on your show, then I tell you in advance that no matter what you say or do, I will not take my top off. No, not even for $1 million. End topic. Begin topic. When I learned subject Kutniti Shastra from Vedic literature, the art of using the knowledge of manipulating psychology for unjust gains. Begin subtopic. A good debt is not a bad thing. Just like a person who has had a terrible experience before while sipping on hot boiling milk becomes double cautious, so much so that even while sipping on water, he begins to blow over it first. Father Akash's advice to his daughter is to follow a conservative and simple lifestyle, as every dollar saved is like a dollar earned. Plugging the leak by minimizing one's expenses and then using those savings towards paying off the house mortgage as fast as one can. This strategy appeals to my intelligence, but since I have not just inherited his style of thinking, but also have the energies of youth with me, which want to go one step even further. Thus, here's my thought process behind this improvised strategy of mine. Being a foreigner, I do not have any advantage of some robust ancestral tree backing all my causes like these natives do. So, to offset that drawback, I go the extra mile by researching for that same inside information that they have access to. So, this way, I too can enjoy the same fruits of labor that these preferred ones do. Now that the bank is already contributing its share in making my castle, I should be happy and content now, but that does not happen, as now I begin to look for ways to not just live free, but have someone else pay for my castle. Now, if I were to live like a miser in my mad rush to pay off the loan faster than in a way I am robbing money from the budget share that was originally meant for the purposes of merriment. With this sacrifice, the only thing happy will be my wallet, never my heart. And so, no deal. So now, what do I do to avoid sacrificing my standard of living? I produce a good strategy to conquer this problem. Either buy two properties from the loan amount, one in which I live and the other on rent, or else I treat my own property as two, where the owner and tenant are living in the same property. The beauty of the system does not just end here, as now this asset is immune to the market fluctuations, is now, even if the property value goes down, should not be a cause of much concern, as the asset is like a cow whose milk will keep nourishing its owners for generation to generations ahead. Now, if this cash cow starts appreciating in value in earnest, I will take it as a bonus check from the heavens above. This way, I will always be swimming in safe zone. And with it begins the odyssey of this Robin Crusoe over uncharted waters, the biggest financial life decision, as not just an owner but also a property owner. In 2005, a new star is born in the horizon with the purchase of a 2-bedroom condominium in Quincy, Massachusetts, where I start living as a property owner with another roommate from hell called by the name of the negative energy person. As the name of the roommate suggests, we are looking forward for some fireworks and we are not disappointed. Now that the stage is set, let the battles begin. End topic. Begin topic. Credit history. Begin quote. The even eye helps. Doubt, over-friendly overtures, mistrust, hostile overtures. End quote. Dear Mayuri's diary, I have the great fortune of dealing with a blood-sucking leech in the form of my roommate, who I like to call as the negative energy person. Due to us sharing the same social status in the society, I find myself getting engaged in constant unhealthy comparisons. Every time she opens her wallet to pay, her greed and blood sucking nature tries to find the loopholes in every situation so she can suck as much as she from my rightful share. Her genius thought process working overtime. The owner might just be my twin for the sake of easy comparison. I am the smartest of the two, and yet, by this one move of hers, of buying a house and then using me as a renter to help lift most of the financial burden makes me feel used for her evil designs. The jealousy in me gets more fuel when I must pay to someone who is not even half my brain prowess. The reason I cannot do what she is doing is that the bank will never give me a loan due to my negligence of letting the record of all my past evils find its way on my credit report. Still, despite it all, it is me who is the smarter one, as with my fantastic knowledge of the law, no one can ever outsmart me. Trusting her on her word is a mistake, as for her words are a form of weapon in her hands, which she can twist and then present it in a way that fits her agenda of never paying for her meals. Like this one instance when this leech comes to me to borrow my favorite fancy hair clip. I do not ask other people for their things, so when other people do so, I have a hard time relating with them. When someone is asking in person, it becomes difficult to refuse the request. I too am yet to learn the art of saying no, so I agree to give, but as I am climbing the stairs, I'm feeling so generous that I am now thinking of giving the matching bracelet too. When I open my jewelry box, my eyes accidentally fall on the gold earrings which she had borrowed from me last year for a party. That sight triggers in me the memory of the whole incident that had left a bad taste in my mouth. She had borrowed them from me for attending a wedding. I trustingly gave them without much thought. Now, what do you think happened next? She says she cannot return them as she lost them and does not have any money to buy any equivalent replacement. I remember how after that day all my peace had vanished. The only thing I could think of was of ways of getting my valuables back again. Then my stress levels doubled, as now I was not just doing one job but two. As once my real job ends, right after begins this new job of mine of going to her house, then sit all evening with her, requesting her to find the earrings. This drama finally ended when she finally gave them back. It is not just this experience is the cause, but also that this woman is not poor, who cannot fulfill her needs, but is a woman who has never learned to live within her means. Judgment, guilty. Request, denied. A smile now adorns my face, as now I have the answer I need. Now, on to the hard part, conveying the bitter verdict to the guilty. I decide to deal with the matter with smartness. Had this friend been honest with me the last time, I would have given her much more than she had even asked for. This generous Mayuri would have even given the matching necklace set that goes along well with what she had originally asked for. But now, due to her poor image in front of me, that possibility became an impossibility. But what I can still do is attack it with a balanced approach. I do lend her one, but with something that I can't afford to lose. Dot, dot, dot. End topic.